record while reconnecting to shared audio. Microsoft Windows Network. The local device name is already in use. This connection has not been restored. I don't know how to restore it. I'm not.
You can play all the cuts from over here.
Do I have Adobe on this PC?
You don't need Adobe. You just play them as individual cuts. You can access the shared drive or folder for today from that one, and it'll just play as like just audio. It's not ideal, but we'll be able to get through today. And we'll skip weather. I'll take care of what. Well, I mean, it's too late to get it for the first one. I'll take care of the first weather. I am going to need one cut for... You know what? Let's flip this around. I'm going to move the attacks on the Capitol into the 625. The attack on the Capitol into the 625 segment. Huh? What? Oh, okay. Good deal. Good deal. It's okay. Yep. .605 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Good morning, everybody. Brian here with you. Jake producing. We call it Mornings with Brian Haldane. We are off and running about 1 minute early, a little bit less than 1 minute early, and there's reason for that. You missed our weather on the way in, having a little trouble accessing one of our networks. So let me go ahead and knock out the weather for you while we find another way to get over to Marissa Nuzzo. We're starting off at 57 degrees and cloudy in the capital city of Baton Rouge. Going to get up to 71 degrees today. We have a 60% chance of rain in the forecast today. That rain looks like it's going to bring with it colder weather. Overnight low tonight, 34. Top it out, it's supposed to be 71, getting all the way back down to 34. This week has been such a roller coaster with the weather. I mean, we started off below freezing 2 different days this week. We were in the mid-70s before it was all said and done yesterday. Supposed to be 71 your top today, 34 your overnight low into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we're supposed to top out at 57 degrees under sunny skies, overnight low Friday night, 43. Saturday we're back in the 70s again, but we also have a 70% chance of rain on Saturday. Another 75% chance of rain on Sunday as well. Monday is going to cool off big time. Your overnight low Sunday night into Monday morning is 51 degrees. Your high on Monday is 58 degrees. So from start to finish, it's only going to go up by 7 degrees over the course of Monday. Monday's overnight low is 37. Looking at next week, we're going to have overnight lows in the 30s and 40s most of the week. So that's where we're at today. By the way, if you're curious about the rain itself and when it's going to get here, look for about mid-morning. Late morning to around lunchtime. Somewhere between 10 and 1 is essentially what I'm looking at here. So, and after that, expect a cool down. In fact, I was looking at the temperatures earlier. When you look at it hour by hour, so we should be up to 71 degrees by like 1 p.m. once the rain clears through. The one of the apps, Weather Underground app. We're at 71 degrees by 1 p.m., all the way down, then it ticks down by 1 degree for 2 p.m. to 70, 3 p.m. 68, 4 p.m. 60. It's a pretty significant drop in 1 hour, especially an hour where the sun is still supposed to be out. Then down to 55 for 5 p.m., and then we'll drop into the 40s by the time the sun goes down. So expect the back half of the day to be cooling at best. We have a busy lineup for you this morning. I do have to lead off by saying today is January 6th, the anniversary of the everyone calls it something different. The attack on the Capitol, the insurrection, some dude in a pelt on CNN. There was a lot going on this day last year. We're going to look at it a little bit, but I'm going to leave most of this coverage up to CBS News at the top and bottom of the hour. They have reporters all over the place from a law enforcement standpoint, a political standpoint, and more. We will let them handle everything they need to handle. As from our standpoint, we're going to touch on it again a little bit in the 625 segment. Actually, not even a little bit. A little bit in the 625 segment, and then again in the 815 segment from two different standpoints. This day last year was the certification of the presidential election. Now, I know everything about what happened on January 6th was politicized or has been politicized since then. But when we get down the road, we need to not look at it from a standpoint of just the politics. There was a reason why things happened at the Capitol 1 day ago last year that happened at the Capitol 1 day ago last year. Or 1 year ago today. Excuse me. Wow, that's backwards. And the reason for that was the certification of the election. Anybody that wants to whitewash, especially within my own party, and I'm a lifelong Republican, anybody that wants to whitewash what went down last year is just not being truthful. How far up the food chain it went, that's still under investigation. Where that investigation is going to go, sadly, is going to be political. But what went down last year was about interrupting the certification of an election. That was the genesis of it. It wasn't tourism. It wasn't people peacefully walking around the Capitol building. It was about interrupting the certification of an election. We'll dive into that more a little bit later on. Let me tell you who's on the show this morning. Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, going to join us at 6:35. We're talking business in Baton Rouge. Got a couple of interesting topics to cover with Patrick. Number one, we talked with John Davis yesterday about medical marijuana, which, interestingly enough, you know how 4/20 is National Marijuana Day? Well, apparently yesterday was National Marijuana Day as well, if you're good at fractions. 4/20, reduce it down. Yesterday was 1/5. Oh, that is a dad joke and a math joke, and I just can't get enough of it. Patrick Grimion is joining us at 6:35, and so we were talking about medical marijuana. And as medical marijuana grows, more and more people are going to take advantage of it. And as more and more people take advantage of it, the lines are going to be blurred in the workplace as to who has it legitimately and who just likes to smoke weed. And each and every workplace is going to be different. How do you adapt into your culture that which is going to grow throughout our culture, specifically when it comes to marijuana? Also, when it comes to Baton Rouge, from the beginning of the pandemic till now, we've seen a ton on new restaurants, keeping restaurants afloat. This restaurant's coming to town, this restaurant's closing, that sort of thing. Why are restaurants the only businesses we fully celebrate? We'll dive into that later. 7 o'clock hour, State Representative, soon to be former State Representative Ted James is going to join us. He is moving on to a federal gig with the USSBA. That's the Small Business Administration. The Small Business Administration, he's going to be the director or the administrator of Region 6. And as such, we're going to need a new state representative. More to the point, I'm going to need a new state representative. So we'll talk with State Representative Ted James at 7:15, 7:35. BRPD and the DEA are going to be by for Crimestoppers. They've got a Citizens Academy coming up. In the 8 o'clock hour, Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome was at the Rotary Club yesterday for her State of the City address. We've got audio from that at 8:15. Teaser next Thursday at 7:15. Mayor Broome is supposed to be in studio. And then at 8:40, been looking forward to this one all week long. Darryl McDaniels. Think back. It's been a minute since you've heard his name. Darryl McDaniels is the author of a children's book named Darryl's Dream. Why would you care about a little picture book, a little children's book? Well, Darryl McDaniels, let's run down those initials. D and the first two letters of his last name, MC. Yes, that DMC from Run DMC. I got the chance to sit down with him for about 8 minutes yesterday, 8:40 this morning. We're playing that back. Run DMC was game-changing across the board in music in the late 80s, early 90s, mostly the late 80s. Raising Hell was just a complete game-changer. And got the chance to talk with him about his new book, about passing lessons on from one generation to the next when it comes to teaching children, and so much more. Ooh, I'm looking up at the clock. We're super-duper late. Quick break. Coming right back at it on Talk 107.3 FM. Do need to tell you before we hit that break. Matherns? Good. Before we take that break, got to tell you about the folks over at Matherns Market. You'll find them in two locations. Downtown on 3rd Street, Nicholson at Skip Burtman Drive. Today is January 6th. It is officially official. Told you we were having network problems, otherwise Jake would have music right here. It's officially official. It is King's Day. It is time for King Cake. It is the Mardi Gras season. The carnival season is upon us. You can now officially eat your king cake. You can now officially get your king cake from Matherns Market. Nicholson at Skip Burtman Drive. Walked in the other night. I was producing the Texas Bowl. Walked in the other night to go grab myself a salad. Right as I walked through the front door, boom, there was the display. Glorious! King cakes across the board, and we are now clear to eat them. Yes. Matherns Market has your king cakes there, your king cake headquarters. Also, as parades get here, provided we still have them, as parades get here, they're your parade supply headquarters as well. You want to grab a couple of IPAs before hitting that route? You know where to grab them. Nicholson at Skip Burtman Drive and the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. It's Matherns Market. I was trying to text you, and I could not for the life of me get my thought patterns to match what I was saying while I was texting. It's weird. Normally I can multitask that. I know. It just, with the internet, Anna says traffic, internet is down here. You'll have traffic. Will just not be uploaded as much as I have to go to a different studio. Anna's having trouble, so traffic is going to be slightly more outdated than normal. No. Leave them in there. They'll be about 10 minutes behind. All right, did you get the Joe Burrow cut I emailed you? Okay. Burrow. And then in today's folder, there's a Graves cut from last year. I want that one at 6:25. And then at the top of the hour when we go to news, I'm going to have to run down the hall again because I want to grab a cut from Russell Honore. From last year. He headed up the security investigation. Broome cuts are at 8:15. Yeah, that's all we're going to have time for. Okay. Really? Okay. Come on. Gotcha. That's later. We still go to the borough now. Woo! Ran long in that opening segment. Still didn't get to everything I wanted to get to. Oh, my goodness. Southern University is down to 6 semifinalists for their president-chancellor's position. Baton Rouge General and Mary Bird Perkins are teaming up. We'll get to all of it. We'll get to all of it throughout the show this morning, I promise. It's just a busy day. Hey, LSU women's basketball taking on South Carolina tonight. Let me rephrase that. LSU women's basketball taking on number 1 South Carolina tonight. Oh, it's going down for real in the PMAC tonight. The ladies, they might be a little bit outmatched tonight. But Kim Mulkey, if anything, has proven that she can get these girls to play over their heads. I cannot wait for this matchup. I haven't been this hyped about any basketball game in a while. Women's basketball game especially. Hey, Sunday, if you were looking for that Burrow to Chase connection one more time, the announcement's out. Joe Burrow going to be sitting out this week.
Anytime you can get a little break at this point of the season, we've played a lot of games. The bodies are starting to wear down a little bit, and you can rest me this week and get my body back to where it needs to be, so I can be full strength running around the way I need to be week one of the playoffs. Anytime.
Yeah, stinks. I was looking for that connection one more time before the playoffs started, especially against the Browns. Let's get you to the Fox Business Report. All right, I got to let in Petty G. Guys, I'm going to be all over the place this morning. I haven't even opened YouTube yet, and I apologize. Oh, you don't like Mardi Gras. Never mind. Yeah, you don't like Mardi Gras. Never mind.
Morning. Doing well. How are you?
Good. Works off to start.
Yeah.
I heard technical difficulties.
All over the place.
Nice.
Yeah.
It makes you realize how important any one piece of equipment is.
There was a time, and this is like dating myself here. Oh, gross as.
Oh yeah, have you just now looked at that?
Oh yeah, I remember when I did the show with Patty
I
G.
straight up used that mic. I'm like, I'm not using that mic.
I put him on mic
It's
too.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Two is garbage.
That one?
Yeah, it's garbage.
It worked fine. I need to get like a new screen.
Or just clean it. Mine's fortunately good enough. I don't know how that gets dirty though, because you're not supposed to like touch it.
6 different people use it.
Yeah, but like you rubbing crumbs on that, or
Do what?
it looked disgusting. I remember seeing it, but like,
Franz and Brian are very spitty talkers.
yeah, that's it.
We also have Jay. We also have.
Oh yeah, Jay's eating food on the radio show.
But he uses mic 4.
He uses that one.
He uses this one, but he sits over here, doesn't he?
And when did Jay start sitting here?
He always sits there.
He sits there.
Well, at least since I've been here. By the way, YouTube, sorry for the audio. I don't know if it's
But
like
we also have contract.
if him cleaning the mic was doing some damage, but it's good now.
Yeah, and we have no control over that shit. Do I have enough time to run upstairs and back?
You have over a minute, just a little. Run, Forrest.
Yeah, if I run, I'll be out of breath.
That's perfect for a radio show.
It'll tell the broadcaster you're working hard.
That's right. You're making it happen.
Man. So basically what's happened is like my internet PC can't load anything website-wise.
Why not?
It's not connected. It says the IP address can't be found. And I tried calling like the emergency service and they said there's no one there to answer the call, even though there's supposed to be someone there 24/7.
So much for emergency service.
Exactly. And so I tried restarting it because like that's what any sane person would do. And now all of a sudden I'm not connected to any of the shared audio across the company. So now I can't load any of that stuff.
Stop Incorporated second line. Is it ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay. Coming back in with that.
From the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure there's no
15 seconds.
ads.
No, I got
Okay.
them already.
.24 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Patrick Grimion, host of the Petty G Show, coming your way 11 minutes from right now. Yes, it is 12th night, also known as Epiphany Eve, which interestingly enough, Feast of the Epiphany was last Sunday, but nonetheless, it's the beginning of the carnival season. Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome in a press conference last, what was it, Thursday or Friday? Or no, I'm sorry, it was this week. It was earlier this. Wow, you have an 8 p.m. kickoff on a Tuesday night. The whole week just goes straight to hell. All right. So earlier this week, Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome held a press conference. Said it's still too early to know if we're going to parade. Yeah. We're 1 month out from the big ones, right? So we'll know soon enough, I hope. New Orleans, it's still a go. Lafayette's still a go. Eunice, I'm sure they're going to chase chickens. Or, no, that's not in Eunice. Where do they do that? I'm looking at Patrick like he even knows. Mamu, that's the one I'm looking for.
Of course I know.
They do something in Eunice. I'm sure they make a gumbo or something.
Yeah.
All right, a lot of ground to cover this morning. Baton Rouge General and Mary Bird Perkins have announced a cancer partnership. This was big news yesterday. Got press releases from Baton Rouge General and Mary Bird Perkins. Going to reach out to get somebody on the show tomorrow to talk about this from one of, if not both, of these entities. Just getting from the business report. Less than 5 months after announcing plans to end its affiliation with Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center, Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center announced it has formed an agreement to share resources with Baton Rouge General's Pennington Cancer Center. The agreement is the latest in a series of shakeups in Baton Rouge's healthcare market, more specifically in cancer care. After Our Lady of the Lake and Mary Bird Perkins announced the end of their affiliation in August, Our Lady of the Lake unveiled plans to build a $100 million cancer treatment center. Mary Bird Perkins launched the partnership with One Oncology. We had Todd Stevens on the show August 20th to talk about that partnership. Everything about that partnership sounds like it's going to be a game changer in Baton Rouge. Our Lady of the Lake picking up the ball and running with it, saying, oh, we'll do our own thing, dropping $100 million on a new cancer treatment center themselves, sounds like a good thing. This is all partnering up very, very well. The new partnership agreement allows Baton Rouge General and Mary Bird Perkins to leverage resources, according to the organization's announcement. Now, if you go back and listen to that interview with Todd Stevens, the entire thing was about leveraging resources. Why do you hook up with One Oncology? Because you get nationally, if not internationally renowned company with deep, deep pockets and deep, deep science. A lot of resources going into that. So We'll pick up that conversation as soon as we have some guests on it, but for now it looks like good news. I mean, the only thing that's really weird about the whole thing is the actual geography. I mean, Mary Bird Perkins is teaming up with Pennington, so they live right around the corner. But if you're Mary Bird Perkins, you're still at Our Lady of the Lake. You're still living with your ex. What if Pennington sleeps over? It's just going to get weird. I mean, that's going to be a walk of shame back up Eston and around the corner, wearing the white button down. It just, you know, if everybody could just be civil, be nice, amicable, it's going to be great for Baton Rouge. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of shouting. Like that Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston movie. What was that, The Breakup? Who gets the kids? Woman's gets the kids, Patrick. They're all the way across town, but come on. Southern University has announced they've got 6 semifinalists for their president-chancellor position. We're going to get into that later. Right now, though, I want to take one more look at January 6th. The January 6th Commission is still doing their thing. A lot of worry that the outcome of this is going to be very, very partisan, very, very politically led. I have no doubt of that. But I do want to address, how long is that cut? I do want to address what went down on this day last year. It was the certification of the election. Now, we're going to have some audio for you in our 8 o'clock hour. Yeah, we don't have enough time for it right now. We're going to have audio for you in our 8 o'clock hour from both Russell Honore, General Russell Honore, and Congressman Garrett Graves. I actually have Congressman Graves on the show every single Wednesday for DC Current. This day January 6th last year was a Wednesday. And I was just goofing around with the congressman, as I do. As, you know, lighthearted. But saying, you know, when it comes to the certification of the election, are people from our party, because the congressman and I are both Republicans, are people from our party going to stand in the way of certifying this election? And the congressman's answer, if I'm remembering right, and I pulled an audio clip, but I haven't had a chance to go back and listen to it, and it is a year old. But the congressman's answer revolved around, you can't stand in the way of certifying the election because it sets the precedent that partisan politics can trump the national voice, can trump the electoral college. Well, stupid me, as I do, I asked him a follow-up question. I said, Congressman, if things go sideways, are you ready to throw hands? Like, if it gets out of hand in the U.S. Capitol, are you ready to scrap? And he gave a great answer. It was a funny answer. Basically, he's not going to box, but he can run, or something to that effect. Anyways, it turned out things went sideways. We'll get to all that later on. Right now, CBS News coming your way.
Obviously, I can't get the newscast or weather.
Oh, crap. Let's do the traffic and the break and then come back to it. What's up, T-Bob?
What up?
I wish you would have told me that part about 10 minutes ago. I could have gotten it to you in time. Jake.Barty. Well, I mean, my head's all over the place.
No, I understand. Just nothing from this PC is running, which is where I get used to it.
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
Still no accidents out there, leaving you with normal drive times around the capital city. The construction zone, though, be aware around the 10-12 merge yesterday. Just randomly, crews had to block off the lane to do some maintenance in the middle of the track rush. So that could happen this morning again as crews could be out there. But I don't think that was something that they planned. I mean,
When's the last time Condon's been
been 7 minutes from the switch LA 1, looking good across the river.
The week of Christmas.
You miss.
Okay.
You want me to just play it on, just get an email to me, just play it on there, on the internet?
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep the second line or anything?
No, you can be done with it. Well, no, hang on to it. We'll play it again. Is there nothing playing?
No, it's just 5 seconds of dead air on the same spot.
Okay.
This is so stupid, dude.
Sounds like a fun situation.
Well, I mean, it's one thing, like, you have a bad day at work, but it's another thing to have, like, a bunch of crap not working, and it's also 5:30.
And no one's available to fix it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I tried texting a few people from here, and they were like, call this number, you should be able to fix it, stay on hold, and like, we're closed. But if you really need to talk to someone, press 1. And then I get on hold for like 3 minutes, and then once their song ends, it's like, we're sorry, there's nobody here to take your call.
You called at the one time where the guy's taking a bathroom break.
Like, it's literally 24/7. The service is 24/7. I have a guy on call 24/7.
Maybe they were just, dropping the kids off at the pool. Sometimes it'd be like that,
If we were in Spain, I would understand if they're taking a siesta, but in this instance, we're in America.
Yeah, look, I get it. It's 5:30 in the morning. It's early. People still, morning coffee's kicking in. You got all those fun things happening.
It's not early for 24/7, that's for sure.
Well, yeah. You think?
I swear I'm going to end up spending more time out of the studio during the show this morning than in the studio.
Is
Donkulous.
it getting sent to me?
What, the news? Go to this morning's folder.
Getting your steps in?
1,500 so far.
Nice.
Complete collision at 46.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Forecast just got sent.
So, I don't know how I'm going to be able to assemble all of the audio clips together to make the posts.
Wait. Don't worry about the posts right now. Let's grab them out of Sterlitz.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Just grab them and save them. That's it. That's it. We'll get the computers fixed. If everything has to get posted a day late, then it has to get posted a day late. Oh, he just emailed.
Wait, so I do have the weather?
Yeah.
Where? I don't want to press the wrong thing and stop the newscast.
Mm-hmm.
Just feel honored.
He sent me the newscast, but I don't have the weather.
Marissa says she sent it.
Nothing yet.
Check your junk mail.
Nothing.
Okay.
I'm not gonna find it.
It's okay.
I have to get you on.
It's okay. No, come. Oh, sorry. I was gonna do a weather. It's all good. 637 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. I'm going to welcome in Patrick Grimmy on in just a minute, but we do need to get our forecast in as well. Look for rain in the middle of the day and then look for it to get cold. That's the long and the short of it. We're starting off your day at 57 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. 70% chance of rain throughout the midday today. Looking like it's going to be throughout lunchtime, basically. Scrolling back. Yeah, anywhere between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., we've got a 70% chance of rain, and then the temperature is going to start to drop off between 2 and 4. Our temperature around 2 o'clock is going to be 70-ish degrees. 4 p.m., it looks like 61. 5 p.m., 55. And then once the sun goes down, we'll be in the 40s. Overnight low into tomorrow morning, looking like it's going to get down to about 34. Tomorrow we top out at just 57 degrees. By the way, look for a repeat of the rain on Saturday as well. All right. Time to welcome into the show, as we do every single week, Patrick Grimion. He's the host of the Patty G Show. Patrick, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. Happy New Year.
Oh, yes, Happy New Year to you. We've got a lot of ground to cover this morning. Actually, there's two main topics I want to talk about this morning.
Okay.
The first of which is we had John Davis on yesterday from Good Day Farm, and they're heading up the medicinal marijuana throughout the state. We talked about it from a medical perspective, from an application perspective, from a law enforcement perspective, but I wanted to talk with you this morning about news story yesterday about the hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands, statewide of people lining up.
Yeah, it's like 500 people in one day for
Yeah.
the center that opened up.
Right, for the one here.
Yeah, for the one that just opened up.
Right, that's here. Shreveport, New Orleans, North Shore, Lake Charles,
Yeah, they think
Monroe.
about 9 across the state.
There are 9 across the state. That is correct. Each LDH region has one pharmacy. Now, down the road, that's going to, if you'll pardon the pun, grow.
It will. I think
So,
depending on how it goes, it could end up like vending machines.
well, that's for a state that moves as slow as we do. That's a long way down the road.
Decade, maybe less.
Maybe. Here's the thing, though. There are going to be repercussions for this throughout. And the workplace is going to be one of those places where you have repercussions. So, from a workplace culture perspective, what are we going to see change in the future when it comes to marijuana and marijuana use?
Well, currently, you look at the state of things, you've got your industrial section, right? Your industrial sector, your truck driving sector, they do regular drug tests, random drug tests. Make sure you're not on anything, right? Make sure you're not smoking the marijuana right now.
Yes.
Making sure you're sober and you're clean, doing your work with either heavy equipment, heavy machinery, or, you're just driving sober, not under the influence.
Right.
When you look at that, and now you start having people with medical reasons require this, now you get into the realm of employers controlling your medication, which gets a little dicey.
Do employers not control your medication now?
Does your employer ask you what medications are you taking, Brian?
No.
So then the argument comes up of, are they going to ask you, are you taking medical marijuana? It's a medication.
Now, yes. Now it's considered a medication, but that's a weird thing, isn't it?
It is, because now it impairs your ability to operate heavy machinery, perform some tasks. So as an employer,
Does it do that any more than Oxycontin or Percocet or whatever? Is it?
depends on the dosage, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but that's kind of my point, though. Is we've got one realm that's always been considered for a medicinal purpose, and one realm that's always been considered for a recreational purpose, but we find there's medicinal value, so we move it from column B over to column A, and now we've got this weird spot in the workplace where, first of all, yes, industrial, there needs to be rules, guidelines, standard operating procedure that's probably already in place, but if not, needs to be.
There are in certain states. I was looking at it this morning, and certain states have certain procedures in place, whereas they're not necessarily firing people or saying you can't come to work if you're taking medical marijuana. They change the task you're doing for the day.
Interesting.
So instead of, let's say you're a forklift operator and you've got a bad back spasm or something, you had to use your medical marijuana card for whatever reason it may be. If you're normally operating the forklift, maybe they'll say, hey, look, why don't you, instead of operating the forklift, be the safety person for the forklift. Direct them with the flashlights, so on and so forth.
Okay.
Don't drive it, but
Right.
change the task as opposed of just firing them all together.
So basically not a suspension, but a few hour suspension. I said, take the rest of the day and hop down off of there.
It's noon. Maybe spend the rest of the day not driving,
right? Not
operating a heavy piece of machinery. But then you also look at different fields that don't drive all the time, but still having your.
We have plants up and down the river that,
Right.
I mean, it's not just about running a forklift into a pallet of, Coke bottles. This is like, you can have serious repercussions throughout Louisiana's industry, whether it be up and down the river at the plants. Offshore is a whole different animal. Like, it,
Well, especially in those fields where pulling muscles and pain is more prevalent than, I hate to say it, sitting in a chair in a radio studio.
right. Well, you'd be surprised.
That just comes with age.
But what we're going to see, and I want to back this up to not just the heavy industrial, not just where the safety is concerned, but where the culture is concerned as well. But those places can put guidelines in place, but we all have to remember it's going to be a work in progress.
It is.
And throughout that work in progress, everyone's going to have to err to the side of caution. And in erring to the side of caution, I think that's where your complaints from a work person standpoint, from a worker standpoint, are going to pop up. Because if you have your medicinal marijuana card and you take advantage of it from a smoking perspective, you're going to, according to John Davis from Good Day Farm yesterday, receive those benefits quickly. It's a quicker delivery system.
It's 2 to 10 minutes.
Yes, but it's gone sooner as well. So instead of that relief lasting for 8 to 10 hours, it'll last for like an hour or two. Ideally, you'd want to treat that once you go home at night.
Right. Whenever you're safe and you're not in a big position to either make a decision that could impair somebody else. But I think I look at it as, is this going to become the new vape pen in the office?
Yeah, which
are you gonna use your vape pen every 2 or 3 hours?
we're
and
still
get
working
your-
our way through that.
Get it.
Dude, we had a kid. We had a part-timer, this was before the pandemic, hitting the vape pen in the middle of a show. Like, come on, bro.
Looking like Joe Rogan in here.
Yeah, it's like, we all see you. It's a vape, but it's still gonna. Anyway, that's a whole other thing.
It's
But-
hard to hide, but the delivery of it.
Yes.
Is someone going to then argue, well, if I'm able to vape at work, what's the difference of me using my medical marijuana through a vape pen at work?
Okay, now let's shift that from the usage and safety to the overall enforcement, because the overall enforcement is where you're going to see the bigger argument here. So, random drug tests are a thing, probably always will be, sadly. So
in certain fields, there's
now,
always going to be random drug testing.
if I get a random drug test, do I now have to open myself up to talk about all of my prescriptions if I pop positive for marijuana?
Ooh.
From an employer's standpoint, can my employer demand that they know everything that I'm on, whether it be Lipitor or Lipitor's blood pressure, right?
Don't ask me. I don't take it.
Yeah, I don't take it either. I was guessing.
But that also
Lipitor
falls under the same.
or a Percocet or medical marijuana.
Well, that falls under the same question of, do you have your vaccine or not? Did you get your COVID shot or not?
And that's
Falls
exactly
under the same umbrella, right?
That's exactly where I was hoping this conversation would go. But we got to pause for just a minute. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to hopefully check traffic. We're still having network issues this morning, and I do sincerely apologize. Hopefully check traffic, check your money now, and then coming right back at it. He's Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show. We visit every single Thursday to talk about business and business culture. I tell you what, I'm breaking about 15 seconds early just to make sure we have room on the back end. Coming right back on Talk 107.3. If that way, if traffic's not there, I'll have a chance to pull it up and do it myself.
Brian delivering traffic. It's a nice.
And the
little
weather
spin.
and
the weather.
By the way, good morning, Christy. I forgot to wish my wife a good morning. That's totally on me.
Shame.
She's probably already taking care of the kids
Shame.
by now. I know.
Ooh, Christian has a good question.
What?
In this crazy worker shortage, can companies afford to fire people for something so trivial? I'm assuming such as
That's a
medical
damn
marijuana.
good point. That is
Such
a
as medical
damn good
marijuana.
point. Bring that up when we come back in.
That's a good question, Christian.
Yeah, it is.
I think it comes down to a matter of dosage. I mean, are we talking a small, slight pain relief dosage, or are we talking like a Snoop Dogg daily dose? Like, where are we at in this dosage?
Does he anymore?
Or what is it? Wiz Khalifa smokes about an ounce a day or something, or gram a day.
I have no idea.
Something just absurd.
Is that a lot?
I think so. From my vast usage knowledge, you know.
Right. Yeah, Snoop Dogg what? Oh, you totally have to. It's Snoop. He's a legend. Especially if I'm working. The numbers would be huge. Well, shit, we actually had traffic, so now there's going to be this awkward spot in the middle. Okay, well, that'll be enough for me to
Just
toss.
plug it with something.
Yeah, I got it.
Back pain, elbow pain, chronic illness, medical
Chronic.
marijuana.
Chronic illness. Oh, crap. I was supposed to get to that Russell Honoré cut now. I know. Got to check your money now, then we're right back at it with Patrick Grimion on Talk 107.3 FM. Medicinal marijuana, is it going to cross the streams with a vaccine mandate at work? It's coming up next.
So traffic apparently has just like 5 or 10 seconds of nothing.
Before it gets into it?
No, like it hit traffic and then it said this report is brought to you by Shawbills and it finishes and then there's still like 5 seconds of run.
Oh, on the back end. Okay.
I cut you in earlier and anticipated.
Gotcha. Morning, Clint. Morning, Eric. Morning, Galen. Morning, Byron.
So what part
Morning,
of their,
Christian.
Galen, what part of their insurance would skyrocket exactly? Like, what would, I mean, are you talking about there's going to be more workplace accidents with people under the influence? Like, is that what you're getting at, Galen?
I'm missing this comment. Where is it?
He said, at Christian, they cannot afford to keep them. Their insurance would skyrocket. Replying to Christian's question of, can employers afford to fire somebody over the usage of medical marijuana with the employee shortage? Workers' comp. So specifically, like, yeah. I mean, is Adderall worthy of pulling somebody out of a control room? So, who said it? Eric said they had security come and haul a guy off in the control room that his random showed Adderall and he didn't report it.
In a control room for what? Because, I mean, yeah, it's one thing to not report it. You should report that, but I don't think Adderall, like, hinders your ability to work.
Galen
If
said
anything, it improves.
liability insurance as well as workers' comp, such as roofers working high.
Well, roofers have
Pun
to be high.
intended.
Yeah, pun very much intended. How much does your employer know about what medications you're on? And how much should they know? That's kind of what we're talking about here this morning. Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, is with us. 652 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. How much does your employer know? How much should they know? This question's opened up because, well, the smoking form of medical marijuana is now a thing in Louisiana, and it's super duper popular. And it's only going to get more popular from here. But it's going to end up crossing the streams with a number of different HR questions, a number of different, as by the way, if you're not watching the show on YouTube, you need to be. And when you get there, subscribe. who was it that posted about the insurance question? Was it
Christian.
Christian posted? Oh no, Christian had another question. Galen says, "Oh, let me back up. You're right. Let's start.
There's lots of questions.
There's a
and
ton of
comments.
conversation going on, and it's fantastic." Christian says, "My question is: in this crazy worker shortage, can companies afford to fire people for something so trivial?" Well, if the employer doesn't consider it to be trivial, and if safety and attention span are two primary things involved, if you're an air traffic controller and you step out for a minute to blaze up and you sit back down, your back feels better, but maybe not so much your focus.
Maybe
That's kind of a big deal.
The turbulence and the bumps on takeoff just kind of don't show up anymore.
Right. It just, when you see one blip on the radar and not the other, there are jobs where this is going to be a very, very serious thing. There's also jobs where it's not going to be a serious thing, but the employer takes it as seriously.
Right. Like I think it then gets to an industry specific, right? Like for your classic restaurant smoker break.
Right.
Are they now going to start lighting up medicinal marijuana in the back?
Right.
And if so, is that going to impair them from their reaction time of having a spilled tray almost topple over when they would catch it, when now that spilled tray really topples over?
Right. And there's a huge difference between spinach and artichoke dip on the floor and a meltdown at Riverbend.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about two completely different, not even the same ballpark, not even the same league, not even the same planet.
And then do you run into industry discrimination suits?
Right.
Because I work in this industry, you're not allowing me to take my medication?
Right. So you follow up Christian's comment with, I got to scroll down to it because there's, Galen says they can't afford to keep them. Their insurance would skyrocket. So now you've got a third part of this, or a fourth part of this. You've got your employer, you've got your safety, you've got your usage. Now you've got your insurance company as well. If you are the business owner, as a business owner, do you already have to worry about things like I said, Lipitor, like
Adderall?
Adderall was another one that was mentioned on the YouTube stream as well. Somebody mentioned Zoloft, which I thought was an anxiety medication, but
couldn't tell you.
Currently, do you have to deal with these things as a business owner from an insurance perspective?
Yeah.
Forget about safety, forget about usage, forget about job performance. Strictly paying for your employees. How does that play out there?
And then where do you get into a breach of privacy?
Not just the breach of privacy, but the ADA.
Yeah.
How do you get into, whatever it is that causes that prescription then becomes a disability? Now you can't do anything about it if you wanted to do anything about it.
Right. And then my follow-up question then on the specific medicinal marijuana portion is how much of a screening goes into play in order to get the card? How many people will abuse the system to just say they need it? How many people will say, "Oh, I've got back troubles," and they go to the doctor, and it's one of those kind of tricky territories.
So that takes us outside of the workplace and brings us to the doctor.
Right.
For example, when the pharmacist, when OxyContin hit the market, a lot of doctors were prescribing it, and then as doctors started to curtail that, you'd had the pill mills with certain doctors who would just write prescriptions all willy-nilly without ever thinking about it. You still have pill mills everywhere today.
Oh, yeah.
Some doctors, you got to rip your arm off before you can get a prescription. But others, it's like, no, here you go. Here's more. Here's more. Now, they've curtailed that a lot, but we're going to have to walk down this same path, do the same thing all over again when it comes to medical marijuana.
Well, because then the employer is asking, is it really a necessity? Where's your doctor's note, quote unquote?
Right.
And then if they can just go down to a local shop and get it, then is it really an issue, and is it really helping further the cause of people that truly are in need of this?
Right. But so if I've got chronic back pain and I'm prescribed medicinal marijuana, I have to show a card for it. But Fat Steve is on 8 different heart medications, and he doesn't have to show you anything. He could drop dead any day.
Yeah.
Fat Steve is hurting all of us. Fat Steve.
The guy. Nerve of him.
Yeah.
But it's true. How many people are walking around with just this concoction of medications?
Right.
And now you've got
Look at the little box with the different days on it. Look at
the AM and PM. They walk in with their box.
Yes.
AM and PM.
Yes.
What's in the medication?
What's in the box?
Is the employer now going
What's in the box?
Do they now have the authority to start asking what's in the box?
Right. Right. Can we all turn into Brad Pitt at the end of 7? That got dark. What's in the box?
And is the box necessary?
What is asking about the box necessary? I think is where the discussion's going to go.
And where does it, to quote The Office, cross the line?
Right. I don't know. The line has been blurred out.
Is there a
You
line
can't-
anymore,
you-
Brian?
You can't see
Is
the
there a
line.
line?
You can't see the line through all the smoke. When's the Petty G Show getting started back up again?
Clouded judgment. We are.
For shizzle.
So we're getting into a studio next week.
What? Okay.
We're recording a meeting about a project that I'm hoping to get off the ground in Q2 of this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm meeting with a tech and a creative, and I'll leave it at that.
As part of the Patty G Show?
As
Like
part
new
of-
episodes?
As part of a project within the Patty G Show. New episodes are starting to record 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
We're doing next week. We're doing a kind of a meeting, but also filming it to test the studio, test all the equipment, make sure everything's working right, to then hit it strong 2 weeks from now with new content coming out.
We got less than a minute to go. We don't have enough room to talk about the restaurant discussion.
Google, what is Baton Rouge known for?
Yep.
That's the restaurant discussion. The very first thing it says is food.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Because LSU had a
Is
bad
that all
football season.
Is that all we have to offer?
No. And that's a darn shame, but it seems to be all we talk about from the beginning of the pandemic till now. We're going to take care of our restaurants. Yes, we absolutely do. But what about everybody else? What about our workforce? What about our creatives? What about our entertainment life? What about our business life? We'll dive back in later on. He's Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show. New episodes coming soon. Right now, let's get you the CBS World News Roundup. All right. BMONTG2 says, we are definitely going to discuss this today at my senior management meeting. And you're not the only one, man.
Yes, you should.
This is why I wanted the conversation to go here. We're not going to have answers, and it's going to sound like disjointed for sure, because every single meeting around town or every single meeting around the state is going to sound just as, whoa, let's settle down. Let's walk through this step by step. Like, you don't know who's dealing with what. You don't know who legitimately has what. You don't know who's going to be responsible from jump.
Well, and we didn't even get into this. When you start looking at a client or direct customer involvement industry, do you want to know if your dentist is high?
Yeah.
Do you want to know if the heart surgeon that's about to perform surgery on you is high? Do you want to ask them for a tox screen? Can you ask them for a tox screen? Do you want to know if your CPA is smoking in the back? You're a lawyer.
Your Uber driver.
Your Uber driver.
You know if your DoorDash driver is because you'll take a couple of fries on the way.
I ordered a large fry. It's only a small left.
There's like one fried mushroom left. What the hell happened? I don't know, man. It's like that.
And then can police officers now still put you behind bars for smoking your medicinal marijuana?
So, yeah.
Where does the crime level go to?
It's now a health concern, not a drug issue.
Officer, I'm not high. I'm just on meds.
Right. Well, you're still high.
Well,
but
can you get charged with the driving under the influence if you've got too much oxy in your system?
I think so.
Can they test you for that?
They can extract your blood. I'm pretty sure they could do that without a warrant.
Can they?
I think so. I got to double check on that. I don't want to say that out loud without being sure. All right. At some point, I gotta go get Russell Honore. Broderick. Hey. Yeah. I'm in manufacturing, so they're...
What up, man? Real quick, y'all want to get in my pool? Yeah, since I came up with the idea...
No, I want to get in your hot tub.
Yeah, we got to get that echo fixed. You want in my pool or not?
What echo?
You want in or not?
Yes.
Only got 16 spots because I get first pick. Total was 17. I already picked mine.
What's the pool?
All right, that's what I'm getting right. Don't be so damn impatient.
Come over here and get where the microphones can hear you, please.
What's the pool?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know if Guarantee has any issue in our employee manual about starting pools?
Bro, no.
Depends.
Of course we don't.
All right, so the
can you
LSU
smoke?
Tigers host #1 Lady Cox tonight, right?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So I'm starting a pool. I found out through the grapevine because I got some connects. You know that, babe.
I know.
All right.
Well, of course, you know it's white out. You got to wear white.
Right.
And guess who's in attendance tonight? She's been invited, special guest. SWB, Sharon Weston Broome. So look,
Oh, cool.
I came up with 17 different fashion styles for women. So what I'm going to ask you is I've already picked which one I want that she's going to wear in white. Because she better not show up not wearing white. It's white out. Let's unify the city. And you start by the man getting involved with the promotion tonight. White out. Now, one of the 17 is called Street. I'm going with her wearing a street white outfit. Now, look, you got 16 options. You can go casual, office wear, classic, vintage, chic, goth, punk, rock, grunge, arty. So which one you want? But I need you buck first. You're not going to be one of those jackasses that say, I want in, but I don't have a dollar on me.
I got Venmo. I got
I
PayPal.
don't do all that sissy stuff.
I gotta-
You and I are going to go to the ATM, and I want your buck. Which one you want, Haldane? I got to write your name there. Which one? I'm going to give Patty G free. He's cool.
I'm gonna go. Is office wear's
Hey,
taken?
it's not that complicated, dude. I told you, I'll pick the first one. I got Street. You can have any one you want besides Street.
Oh, well,
That's
that's
taken.
okay. You drew a line through office wear.
But that's because sometimes I'm a little off balance.
I want casual.
All right, Patty G's got
I'm-
casual. All right, you see? You see?
All right, I'm taking.
Slow to act.
I'm taking office wear.
I got Patty G with casual.
Here's my card.
I don't take cards.
I don't carry cash.
I don't take cards. Sorry, buddy.
You take crypto?
What's that?
Crypto?
What the shit is that? What's this guy
Bitcoin.
going crypto?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin?
He's talking like the carrot's going on that HBO special. Tales from the Crypt.
Can I send you $1 of Bitcoin?
Oh, not you too. Whatever happened when people paid with cash?
I don't know.
All right, you.
Whatever happened when people
Patty
wore a
G, you're good
three-piece
fuck.
suit to
You're
work?
good fuck. But either you get your wife to drop off a buck, or you and I are gonna go to your bank, pal.
Wait, I
and
think
we're walking in. We're not doing that driving in.
You know what?
person
You know what?
shit.
Give me a minute.
I refuse for some
I got-
broad to shoot me to two. No way.
I got some quarters in the ashtray in my car.
Quarters are good.
Okay.
Quarters are good.
I'll grab those
But
during
don't
the next
be talking
break.
a good game, and in there I got 2 damn pennies.
I don't
I
need.
know you.
I don't need Condon hunting me
Got
down.
a half-smoked blunt.
That's what we were talking about for the last half hour.
Hey, Jay, you want? Yeah, pick one. Yes, sir. Yeah, which one you want? All right, he's got casual. No, Patty G, what did you say?
I said
Casual. Yeah, I got Patty G.
Wait, whoa! This whole thing's gonna get blown out the water. No. Here's the thing. You got 17 options on there. Is it about the T-shirt? Because everybody's getting a T-shirt
And
tonight.
is going to judge what outfit she's playing.
Okay, but like if she's wearing a T-shirt over like a pantsuit.
Don't worry about it. Classic would be, I don't know, I'll ask Anna. She knows about women's outfits. You want classic? She's going to call it. She's going to see what she's wearing tonight. Whatever she says, it's official.
Let's go classic.
We gotta hit weather.
I'd lay off punk. I'd lay off punk.
No.
Okay.
I'll go classic.
If she's wearing
Jake's going classic, dude.
first 7,000 people through the door get a
How
T-shirt.
you like that?
No, but if she puts the T-shirt on over like a pantsuit, I lose.
No, it's judge what you want in the house.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other more clarification you need, Haldane?
Hey, no! You gotta track me down for 4 quarters. I'm gonna make sure I get my 4 quarters
Hey,
worth.
last thing I want you to do is get confused, layer it up in here, buddy.
When you coming on the show, man?
Monday.
Hey, I just gave Chuck and Jay. Guess what I just gave them?
What?
Beer style. Beer style.
It's not a
like
style of
that.
clothing.
Not only beer style, boo.
Bahamian.
Check this out.
Chuck P wants Bahamian.
Check this out.
What?
IPA. Vintage Chiquita Banana.
Those were all words. I don't know if they go together.
Haldane, I'm not here to play with your foolishness today.
Love you, Rich. How do I pick up from that? 706 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Look, I say it all the time. I say it 3-4 times a morning. If you're not watching on YouTube, you are missing so much. Thanks to Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, for stopping by in our last half hour. And thanks to Richard Condon for I don't know how to describe what just happened over the last 6 minutes. We got a busy hour coming your way this hour. State Representative Ted James made the announcement yesterday. It's time to move on. That was my Nick Saban impression. You like it? State Representative Ted James is leaving his office after being appointed to a federal position by Joe Biden, President Joe Biden. The U.S. Small Business Administration first made the announcement in late December, I believe the week between Christmas and New Year. Ted James is going to take over as the regional administrator for the South Central region, Region 6. He's going to oversee SBA programs, offices, and operations in Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. So Ted James moving on to a federal position. Only problem is now his district needs a new representative. Side note, Ted James is my representative. I guess I should say was. Anyway, Ted's going to be on with us in the next segment to talk about the new gig. This is big news, y'all. It's a good move for Ted. It's a good move for Louisiana. One of the things we talked about a lot during the Trump administration was Louisiana's level of reputation in Washington, D.C. From the second in command at health to the head of energy to you name it across the board. Trump's cabinet had its more than its fair share of Louisiana representation. I mean, we had folks from New Orleans, folks from Baton Rouge, folks from Pankerville. We're all a part of the White House in some form or fashion. When we had the changing of the guard, which was certified 1 year ago today, when we had the changing of the guard, moving from Trump to Biden, we lost a lot of that voice. Gaining that voice back step by step, whether it be Ted James at the SBA, whether it be Mitch Landrieu as the, we'll just call him the infrastructure czar. I just made that term up. He's the point man for doling out the infrastructure dollars that were passed last year. Anytime we can get a Louisiana voice in a key position, it's a good thing. Going to get you the top stories and trending in just a minute. However, I do need to take 60 seconds to tell you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center. Check them out online, CompleteCollision.com, CompleteCollision.com. Why would I go to a website for a body shop? Happy to tell you. There's a lot you can learn there. You can learn a lot about the iCar Gold Class certification. You can learn a lot about what it means to be part of the top 15% of body shops nationwide. Staying on the cutting edge of technology, training, know-how. They take their continuing education when it comes to fixing your vehicle safely, properly, and up to the minute. They take that very, very seriously at both locations of Complete Collision Center. Perkins Road, just east of Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Plank Road in Zachary. Or call them at 768-9898. 768-9898. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out Complete Collision and CompleteCollision.com. Time for top stories and trending. Let's roll. Starting today, visitations are suspended at Louisiana state-run prisons. This is because of the recent surge in COVID cases. According to a statement released by the Department of Public Safety and Corrections, this decision was made, quote, out of an abundance of caution and in an effort to maintain health and safety concerning the latest surge of COVID-19 positive cases in Louisiana. Inmates will be allowed 2 free phone calls a week to stay in touch with family and friends. They may also purchase a video call session if they want. Oh, it was so nice not to have the weekly press conferences for so long, but it looks like we're on our way back to it. Governor John Bell Edwards is going to hold a press conference this afternoon at 2:30 to discuss the Omicron variant and its rapid spread across Louisiana. I'm efforting right now to make sure that press conference is aired right here on Talk 107.3. If not, you'll get the highlights. You'll get the audio tomorrow morning on this show. Keeping it with the COVIDs, some schools in East Baton Rouge are moving classes to virtual learning as the cases continue to climb. At least 2 schools in Baton Rouge announced yesterday they're going virtual. The EBR school system released a statement saying Magnolia Woods would take its classes online from today until January 11th. School officials scheduled a deep cleaning on campus during that time. Another school, Kenilworth Science and Technology Charter School, announced they will transition to fully virtual instruction beginning today. Students would not report to school, should not report to school as of yesterday. That school plans to keep its classes virtual until January 18th. Interestingly enough, Magnolia Woods and Kenilworth, that's basically the same area of town, is it not? Police are investigating a stabbing that left a 19-year-old woman wounded late yesterday morning. BRPD said the incident happened around 10:20 a.m. at the intersection of, or around the intersection of Mohican and Prescott. Department said the victim was expected to survive her injuries. Ronica Green, who lives in the area where the stabbing happened, was arrested later the same day. She was booked on a charge of attempted second-degree murder. 4 rail cars came off the track near Blunt and Scenic yesterday, or early yesterday morning. Hazmat officers were on the scene. They cleaned up a big fuel leak from the locomotive. Baton Rouge Fire said the cars left the track around 2:30 a.m. Wednesday. 3 of those cars were carrying plastic pellets. The attached locomotive developed a fuel leak that was cleaned up by the hazmat team. Fire officials said there was no danger to the public. There were no injuries involved. Those are your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending this morning. Over $630 million. That is where we ended up. The Powerball jackpot, after months and months with no winner, was claimed by, well, it hasn't been claimed yet, was won by 2 people last night. One in California, one in Wisconsin. After Monday, where there was no winner, we saw the Powerball jackpot. Yesterday, when we had Kim Chopin from the lottery on, it was an estimated 610. It ended up being more than 630. 2 $2 tickets. Like I said, one in California, one in Wisconsin were winners. Hey, also from our trending, the upcoming Grammy Awards were postponed yesterday due to what organizers are calling too many risks due to the Omicron variant. No new date has yet been announced for the Grammy Awards. Their ceremony had been scheduled for January 31st in Los Angeles with a live audience and performances. The Recording Academy said it made the decision to postpone the ceremony, quote, after careful consideration and analysis with city and state officials, health and safety experts, the artist community, and their many partners. Kind of sucks because I was looking forward to the Grammys this year. I'm a big Dua Lipa fan. No, it's John Baptiste. Louisiana's own John Baptiste was leading the way with nominations. He had 11 different nominations. Those are your top stories and trending. State Representative Ted James coming up next. Was that Ted at the door, or are we calling him? Cool. What did he look like? Larger? Fit? Beard? Infectious smile? That must be why my text went off in the middle of the segment. Was done. All right. Kill my mic? Okay. Come to find out, my 14-year-old has seen that video. I know. State Representative. For now. Do I? What do you mean?
Should I make them just not
You talking about on the website or on social? Yeah, absolutely. If you can, that which you can get done, get done. Yeah, whatever you can actually absolutely get done. (718) Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So the announcement came out, I guess it was the week between Christmas and New Year's. Press conference yesterday. And the long and the short of it is State Representative Ted James has got himself a new gig with the USSBA. He joins us right now. Representative James, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Brian. I'm doing good, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you, my friend. Happy New Year.
So I got to find myself a new rep, huh?
Looks like it. Looks like it. You will no longer be able to call me your rep. But you always call me your friend.
That is actually a lot more important to me, so good to know. First of all, congratulations. How did this come about?
Oh, it's a long process. I think that there was a request early on in administration through folks that I know, would you be interested in coming on board? And I said if it was, the right opportunity, the right fit, of course I would be interested, just through several conversations regarding previous work with the SBA through the Urban League, and of course a lot of involvement after the flood. This position seemed to be one that was a really good fit, in that it would give me the opportunity to work on some issues that I'd already been working on and really kind of transition into another area, focusing all, strictly on business. And I think that last year with the Main Street Recovery Program that we tried to pass in the House, we quickly learned that there were so many businesses that could not take advantage of that program for several reasons. Number one, didn't have the right paperwork, right? Didn't have the support to complete the application. Didn't have the proper certifications. And I saw that there was a need to really expand some of the services of the SBA, because I know that the agency has programs to help businesses to do the thing that we saw, the treasurer saw was a problem. And it took us a long time to be able to get those dollars out to businesses, because either they didn't know or didn't have the back office support to apply.
So are you viewing this more through a lens of making sure federal help, federal assistance, federal resources can get back home, or through introducing small business in Louisiana to the rest of the nation on a bigger level?
Yeah, I think it's almost threefold. Number one, we have to make sure that our businesses are prepared to compete when it comes to contracting with the federal government, right? Just because you have a business, that does not mean your business qualifies to do business with the United States government. So that's the first piece. Educating businesses on the exact certifications you need, and number two, putting them in a position to compete for those contracts, especially with this infrastructure bill and all of the programs and projects that are coming to Louisiana. There are several small businesses that should be able to participate. I think the second piece is an education component. A lot of businesses, a lot of nonprofits, SBA released a program for nonprofits and churches at the end of 2021. And I know that a lot of Louisiana businesses, folks in this region, didn't know about it. So I think that there's a huge education component where we have to bring information to businesses. I think that the political lens, and being that I've run campaigns, you have to go and meet people where they are. And a lot of times, in government, we forget that, right? We sit in the office and we look for businesses to come to us to look for resources. So we have to get on the ground and go through, the local chambers. There are several groups. I will have a new relationship with LIB and NFIB to make sure that I'm communicating with them, to make sure that their members know about these programs. And I think lastly is to elevate Louisiana and, the region first and then all across the country. As I look at some of the goals laid out, if my region isn't leading in the increase in contracting opportunities, then I can't consider myself successful in this position. So I'm going to make sure that Louisiana businesses can compete.
You mentioned the infrastructure bill. It was actually where I was going to go next. When you talk about the people you need to be talking with Lobby or NFIB, you got to have Mitch Landrieu on speed dial as well. One of the things that has been an overriding theme on this show is Louisiana's representation in D.C. And I think your being assigned to this post, or you're taking home this post, is a big step towards that, because a lot of Louisiana's business is small business. Is this something that you made a point of pushing while applying for this gig? Is that we know small? I mean, it's the SBA, it's the Small Business Administration. That's what we do here.
Most definitely, and I think that I had already started having conversations before, former Mayor Landrieu was appointed. When I saw that and heard it, it was really one of those things that really pushed me to accept the opportunity, because I'll tell you, I went back and forth for a very long time. But when I saw Mitch and knew Cedric was there and saw that Senator Cassidy was such a leader in pushing this bill across the finish line, politically, of course, when you have Cedric there and you have Senator Cassidy, who is one of very few Republicans, Louisiana is in line to, receive a lot. And we know that jobs come there. But I want to make sure, just like I did in the legislature, you want to make sure that the small businesses have an opportunity to compete as well, right? The big boys are always going to do fine. They did fine with PPP after, COVID. But there are other programs and opportunities that we have to push to, our small Louisiana-grown businesses, because those are the ones that really keep the economy going.
Following along that line, Louisiana inside and out. What's the learning curve here? What's the adaptation process to get to know the rest of the region?
Look, it's going to be tough. Not just the region, but the agency.
That's true.
I benefited largely in the legislature because I worked there for 6 years before I was elected. So if I had a question, if I didn't know the answer, I knew who to call. Right. The first thing that I'm doing is, of course, reaching out to elected officials that I know in the areas outside of the staff, because we have, staff that's been with the SBA and the 10 district offices for many years. So, of course, meetings with them to kind of get acclimated to the way they do things, how they're rolling out the programs. And then I'm going to do, things the way I know how to do them and reach out to elected officials, because those elected officials know the community leaders, the business leaders, and, of course, I'm going to be looking to them to put me in a room with the folks that we need to carry out our message. The mayor of Little Rock is a good friend. We already have some things scheduled. A lot of folks in my network are in the Houston, Dallas, even Austin area where the SBA has offices. So, of course, I'm going to start there and try to reach out to chamber members, the counterparts of the lobbies of the world, the NFIBs, those chapters in the areas in which I represent. Of course, I'm going to go directly to those folks. And then I think, Brian, the other piece is the disaster recovery piece, right? The region is already responding to, natural disaster in Arkansas. So, of course, I'll be brought up to speed there. But we know with Louisiana, it's coming, right? So I want to be able to make sure that if the unexpected occurs, that we have resources. And a lot of times, those businesses with those, disaster contracts, those are no bid, right? So it's usually the same folks are brought in, and those are the same folks that are able to expand and grow from a mid-sized business to, a large business. So I want to make sure that, small businesses in the area are able to come in and help recover, right? I don't want to see us bringing in companies from all over the country for, a Louisiana natural disaster when we have folks right here that can do the job if they had the resources that the SBA can provide.
Narrowing that down from national to Region 6, but from Region 6 even further down, how do you keep Texas from overrunning everything?
Look, man, just like I've tried to keep the Republicans from overrunning everything while I was in the minority, right? Of course, Texas is a part of
Easy now.
Louisiana.
Easy.
No, I'm just, but look, Brian, look, you win some, you lose some. But
Yes.
when you get in and you are passionate about it, you lay out a good case. You win friends on the other side, right? And of course, when you look at just politically, presidential candidates don't usually come to Louisiana, right? So federal politics are usually based on electoral votes, and of course, when you look at Texas and you look at Louisiana, it's a huge difference. But you recognize that number one, we have Mr. Richmond, walking distance from the president. You have Mitch Landrieu, that is the head of this huge infrastructure piece, and then we didn't have Senator Cruz leading the fight, right? We didn't have him stepping out to make sure this infrastructure bill passed, and Senator Cassidy did. So with that will come much more resources and a spotlight on the great state of Louisiana. So the good thing is we have champions on both sides with Senator Cassidy, Cedric, and of course I've already had conversations with Garrett, Congressman Graves, and Congressman Carter. I think that together we're going to do some good things for the state.
State Representative Ted James. When's your last day in office, and when do you take over the new gig?
Last day in office is the 28th of this month, and I start with the SBA the 31st. So a few more days.
What happens to your seat? How quickly do we turn around? Are you in the March election, or is your seat going to be in the March election?
I think so. That is the next election date. The speaker, in conversation with him, of course, I think that he's committed to making sure that the seat is not vacant for too long. That will require, I think that the qualifying period is January 26th through the 28th, so it'll be a quick turnaround. I know that there are some conversations from some folks that are interested. I think that there's someone that lives in our district who can get in and hit the ground running on day one, and I've supported her. I indicated that I'm going to support her yesterday, and I'm going to do my best over the next 4 weeks to try to help her.
That's a conversation we're going to have to pick up very shortly. We are straight up out of time right now. State Representative Ted James joining a blue administration in 4 out of 5 red states. It's going to be an interesting journey. We're going to keep you around to make sure we're checking in regularly.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, and congratulations on the gig, man. It's big news for Ted. It's big news for Louisiana. You look at the size of Texas. Like he said, Houston, Dallas, Austin, all huge and booming. Why wouldn't the administrator of the SBA come from any of those places, or from Albuquerque, or Oklahoma City, or Little Rock? Coming from right here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that's going to be big on a national scale. Here's CBS News. Love that guy. Friggin' love that guy. Yo! Yeah. He always does. Oh, what's happening?
We're going to have Brian and Gino.
Okay. Move on over to Mike 2.
Brian.
Nice seeing you again.
Likewise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What you say, sir?
What's happening, Gino?
Man, you see it. You see it. Can we revisit that narrative we talked about last time?
who records it on our end? And
I don't know. We're not discussed. Yeah. Well, if it is, just
oh, apparently that newscast was super duper old. Jeff emailed you that one. Just go back to the 6:31 for 8:30.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. You know, you were on this weekend or off? Did anything happen? Did he go out? Did he have to go out on anything? Me? I'm on this week. Gotcha.
Yes, it is time for Crime Stoppers, and yes, it is time to welcome in Special Agent from the DEA, Brian Singleton, and from Baton Rouge Police Department, Eugene McNeely. Gentlemen, welcome aboard. How are you?
Morning.
Morning. Glad to be here.
Glad to have y'all both on this morning. Glad to be talking about what we're talking about because there's a new Citizens Academy coming up. We're going to run through timeline, curriculum, all that other stuff in a little bit. But, Brian, let's start with you and just the basics of what is the Citizens Academy.
Well, the Citizens Academy is going to be a part of our outreach initiative, DA's outreach initiative called Operation Engage. Along with Baton Rouge City Police Department, we kind of trying to build a joint Citizens Academy. The Citizens Academy, what we want to do is leverage those individuals in the community that want to come to the academy to kind of build those relationships, you know, within the community and the law enforcement arena, and have them get a better understanding of what we do, how we do it, and why we do it.
Right. So who from the community are you looking for here? I mean, this is wide open to everybody, or is this targeted?
Well, I say it's wide open to everybody. We want the members of the community to know and have some insight on what we're doing. First, we'd like to thank Crimestoppers, Sergeant Don Capola. Thank you for allowing us to come on your segment to be able to talk about the Citizens Academy. It's something we're bringing back. We feel it's important that the community have some insight on what we are doing as agency serving the community and DEA and the things that they do on the federal level. It's all of our partners coming together in an attempt to fight crime. So we want people to have an inner idea of how things work. Now, people may assume how things work, but we want to give them some facts.
Okay.
Give them some hardcore shocker scenarios that's going to open their eyes to what's going on, not only in our community, but throughout the entire country.
Give us some examples. What are a few spoilers that we'll learn through this?
Well, we're not going to go into detail because we remain.
Of course.
Keep
One
it,
or two.
But for us, the Baton Rouge Police Department, we're going to have the participants go to the gun range so they can learn about pistols. We're going to talk about fair and impartial training. We're going to talk about traffic stops. We're going to have our homicide detectives come in, talk about the homicides and the part of the investigations that we conduct. We're going to have Crimestoppers come in and do their part. Our plan is to allow them to go to the emergency command center, to where we have all our dispatch, and give them some insight as to the inner workings of what we do, how calls come in, how officers are dispatched, how all the investigations occur, and then the DEA, they can tell you some of the things that they're going to present.
Yeah, Brian, we're going to discuss some of the current drug trends within our region here,
Okay.
in Baton Rouge. Also, we're going to talk about some of our adjudicated cases that we've seen come through Baton Rouge within the metropolitan area here. And some other things we'll talk about, clandestine laboratories. And a big thing that we want to present is called diversion. It's one of our programs, diversion. It's really pharmaceuticals. A lot of people don't realize that DEA regulates the pharmaceutical industry.
Okay.
And so we're going to have a briefing to teach them about pharmaceuticals, what we do, how we do it regarding pharmaceuticals. And we find that these days, the one pill can kill. You may have heard about that. One of the DEA's initiatives, one pill can kill. We're finding that the community is being targeted by some of these drug cartels, okay? And they're trying to dispense, or I shouldn't say dispense, they're trying to put out, fake pills.
Yes.
And they're laced with fentanyl.
Yes.
And that's causing a real public health scare for us.
It's been an ongoing topic on this show, from District Attorney Hiller Moore to the coroner Bo Clark to you name it. We've covered this topic from so many different angles, even up to and including the expansion of medicinal marijuana is going to be hopefully a game changer in getting people away from that which they can buy from cartels to buying in a pharmacy has got to be safer, because if it's coming from a legitimate place, it's not going to be that fentanyl laced stuff.
Right.
So when I knew as soon as you opened your mouth with the front end of that the back end was going to be about fentanyl,
Sure.
which is really taking over everything.
Right.
Without spoiling the whole program, how do you go about approaching this? Is it is it more of a just jumping into the deep end, or is it a toes in the water sort of program, curriculum?
Well, this is the start of what we are going to continue to allow the community to come in and have some insight. So we're going to push forward with having these academies, because we want the community to be our ambassadors. Once we give them insight, we know that they're going to go out and say, hey, these police officers and federal partners that are combating crime, there are tools that they're using, and it's hard, and we need your help. So we're looking at having more ambassadors become involved, because they're going to have more insight on what we do as a law enforcement family. They'll be able to make contact with the DEA, so now they'll know federal partners by name. When they have problems with drugs and the fentanyl problems that we have and seeing out on the street, they'll know that we're actively working. They may not see it, but they know behind the curtain, get an opportunity to see behind the curtain the actions that are being taken.
The diversion part of this is a big part of this, but the overall learning about, and this is going to step away from the course itself, but talk about the general perception of Baton Rouge. A lot of our problems in Baton Rouge, even up to and including the homicide problem in Baton Rouge, starts from the drug problem in Baton Rouge. How much of this is about teaching about, like the chief always says, people and places, right? How much of this is about teaching about the narrowing down of where the problems actually are?
Yeah, Chief Paul is very excited to have this opportunity to be able to push the narrative and inform people about the partnerships that we have going, and let everybody know that you're not alone. All of us are working together. And just as you said, the information that's being presented, that will be given, and having those individuals that we perceive as being ambassadors to assist us in fighting crime.
Asked earlier about is it open to everybody? Is it targeted? Are there specific people you'd want when it comes to a spectrum of who's coming from the community? Is there anybody that you'd like? It's open to everybody, but is there anybody, not named by name, but who would you like to see in the room?
Well, we'd like to see those individuals that are involved in community activists to come learn about what we do, and also understand what they expect from the police.
Right.
Okay. I always say at the DEA, we talk about exposure should mean expectations. So at the Citizen Academy, we try and expose you, so then you have some expectations of what's going on and build that communication.
Right.
between the public and the police. Understand what we do and how we do it and why we do it.
I'm guessing, and DEA Special Agent Brian Singleton and Elgene McNeely from BRPD are guests for Crimestoppers today. I'm guessing this isn't a first of its kind. It has come from somewhere. Where did we get this program from?
Well, for DEA, we've done several of them out of our New Orleans field office in New Orleans.
Okay.
And it's been real successful. Like Sergeant McNeely was talking about, you build those ambassadors. So those ambassadors can take that information back to the community and discuss it with the rest of the community. And hopefully, for example, things like Crimestoppers, when you have Sergeant Coppola up here and we're looking for information regarding a crime that's being committed, they'll know what to do. And they'll, we maybe get more phone calls regarding information on a suspect or a crime that's been committed within the community to help solve it,
So how do we measure success with this? Is it about the number of criminals or amount of drugs or guns taken off the street, or is it about just the overall general interest and cooperation with the public?
Overall general cooperation. Looking for influencers. People are out there that want to make a difference. People that want to get involved. Some don't know how to get involved. So we're giving them the tools to become ambassadors or members of the community that can push forward. So those influencers that are maybe not out front, but they're behind the curtain, knowing what to do, how to do it, and deliver the message to us to where we can be proactive and effective at fighting crime.
Mayor Broome was at the Rotary Club yesterday talking about, and we'll have audio of this in our 8 o'clock hour, but taking ownership of the crime problem in Baton Rouge, specifically the homicides, which connects back to the drug problem in Baton Rouge as well, and taking a holistic approach. I would imagine interweaving this with other efforts that are out there, whether it be Night Out Against Crime or street teams or whatever, gives you a huge recruiting base for people to call and welcome in. Is there... I'm guessing the effort is to make these things interwoven?
Yes, most definitely. Not just for us, but for our federal partners. It's a great recruiting tool also for young and middle-aged folk who have interest in law enforcement. And for those members who may know of other persons who have interest in law enforcement and serving their community, they can go back and share the message and encourage them to say, hey, if you have a heart to serve, if you want to push forward and giving service to your community and your fellow mankind, hey, this is where you should go. This is what you should do. And I know of certain individuals that I can have direct contact with to put you in play.
So if you're not watching on YouTube, at the beginning of that answer, you didn't see the look I just got from Elgene McNeely from BRPD, where it was like, 9 minutes into the conversation, the light finally went on for Haldane. All right, what's the level of commitment for those that would like to participate?
Level of commitment? Well,
like what do they have to attend? Where do they need to go? That sort of
yes, so you have to first apply. Go to BRPD.
Yeah, on our website, brla.gov, you go to the Baton Rouge Police website. We have the application and the flyer, of informational flyer on our website, or you can pick up an application at our BRPD headquarters in the lobby. All those applications are coming directly to me. I want to let you know we're going to do a background check on individuals. If you are a convicted felon, you are still allowed to apply. There's just some aspects of the class that you may not be able to participate in because you are a convicted felon, as far as going to the actual gun range.
Right.
But outside of that, everybody has value. We want everybody to apply and take part.
Well, I mean, it's about learning how to work with the system, not learning how to beat the system.
Right.
I mean, you got to have your eyes out for that as well.
And Brian, if I could
go
jump
for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're looking at about 8 weeks.
Yes.
Every Tuesday from 6 to 8. It's going to be at the Baton Rouge Police Department, located at 9000 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Corner Airline, Goodwood.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think those individuals that decide to participate and get selected will have a very, very good time. We've had very good success with the ones we've done in the past.
Deadline,
so we're excited about this one.
I'm looking forward to it. I want a progress report as it's making its way through as well. Deadline to apply. We've got 30 seconds left. Deadline to apply is when?
Friday.
This Friday.
Yeah, yes, we've been pushing
tomorrow.
Hard. Yes, tomorrow. So get those applications in, and if you have to send them through the weekend, send them throughout the weekend, because we're going to start processing on Monday.
Okay. Well, yeah, Friday's the soft deadline. Through the weekend would be the hard deadline. Yes. Brian Singleton, DEA Special Agent, and we all know and love Elgene McNeely from BRPD. BRLA.gov. Follow the prompts from there to get you to the police website and the application from there. Got Your Money Now coming your way right now on Talk 107.3.
Yeah.
I had more.
Yeah, so we're going to have certain days you should come.
You know, yes. So I coach fourth grade girls basketball Tuesdays at 7 and Thursdays at 7. So there will be a couple of times where I can have my assistants take over. And that's
Good.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
I'll be able to make as a
yeah, you can talk about radio, you know.
Well, communication's a facet of it for sure.
Yeah,
I'd love to do that.
So whenever you come, I mean, just 10, 15 minutes to say, hey, I'm Brian, this is what I do, this is where I'm at, and what we do as a company.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, we're local. This segment is every week. The chief is. We're good for Tuesday. 7:35.
Yeah, remind me. But yeah, I'm sitting there.
I'll text you.
Yes, text me. Text me on Monday.
Between the chief, the sheriff doesn't come on that much anymore. Between the chief, the sheriff, the DA, and Don, it's a regular outlet and should be a regular outlet. It is an open line of communication and it's two-way communication.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Yeah, they'll be able to come in and ask all kind of questions. The people in the classroom, it's not just a one, like you say, it's a two-way. It's not one way. It's not just us lecturing. It's like, hey, if you have any questions, just feel free. What you got?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
How many people are you looking for? How big's the class?
20 to 25.
20 to 25.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure it's going to probably be 25.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
open that up on the air because I didn't want anybody to get discouraged.
Sure.
If it was a smaller number to be like, wow, they're probably already full.
Yeah,
Right.
The applications are coming in.
Yeah.
I must say. And I still hadn't got y'all.
It was unfortunate. Some people, when we did the one in New Orleans, we couldn't get everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, so that's just one of the things that happens. But it becomes more and more popular, especially when you do the first one. Me and Sergeant McDaniels was talking about that. You do the first one, they go back to the community and say, hey, you need to go to this one. When y'all gonna have another one?
Yeah, make
and
it
then
a shocker.
And then
Yeah.
from there, success breeds success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we don't know if we're gonna do one a year or two a year. I don't know. It just depends, I guess, on the numbers.
And so I'm guessing the initial hope, and you hinted about this during the segment, the initial hope would be just education of the public in general. But did I not hear like a hinting at a recruitment tool for PD to begin with? Like, you get a taste of it here, you might want to do this for a career.
And what
I know
happened?
somebody who would want to.
Yeah. So Brian, what happened when we did the one in New Orleans? We had a lot of older people, but what happened out of that is their kids. The people in the community, some of these young kids that go to college, they were calling me because I'm the recruiter. They were calling me saying, hey, Miss So-and-so came to this, she told me to give you a call. I'm really interested in law enforcement, blah, blah, blah. And go from there.
Relationship building. I mean,
That's all it is. Relationship,
so much
networking. Yeah.
And people need more of that because they don't. They want to, but don't have the resource. Don't know of the resources.
Yes.
To be able to control.
Yeah.
Right.
And the more separation there is, the more distance there is, the less understanding there is, and then it gets contentious from there. That's kind of how we've gotten to where we are. Which is sad.
And sometimes you can go on social media and digest the wrong thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's what. So that develops your method of thinking. And so so this is why this is so important.
What?
You know?
Social media can be toxic.
No.
Come on.
It's all real stuff that's happening. Yeah.
All good. All right. Well.
Be good, sir. I'll see you next week.
See you next time, right? Thank you.
When are we gonna hear from you?
When do you want to hear from me?
Pitch. It's on you. Because he's ready.
Okay. Early next week.
Okay.
Early next week, we'll get you some kind of package put together that would cover, not just spots and PSAs, but like an interview segment, that sort of thing. I mean, we've already got the one interview, but we'll definitely have something.
And send that through email, or if you want to come and talk for 30 minutes. Or so, so you.
Kill the mics for a second. 7:56 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got CBS News coming your way in 4 minutes from right now. They will be breaking down, today's the anniversary of the insurrection, the attacks on the Capitol, whatever you call it, however you gloss it. Today is the anniversary of January 6th, when last year Congress got together to certify the presidential election. They had guests. Today is the anniversary of that. So CBS will be looking back on that, plus all your latest national and international headlines coming your way in just a little bit. Got to tell you about Mooyah Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. If you don't have lunch plans yet, you do now. Mooyah Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. Get yourself over there. Get your classic double cheeseburger dressed however you like it. I tell you about all the different, some of the more elaborate burgers they have. The best case scenario where they'll give you a little cup of queso to pour right on your burger. You get the onion strings on the burger as well, with a well-done. The A-Wonderful is fantastic. The Hamburger Dog, where you have a hamburger and a hot dog on the same freshly baked potato bun. I tell you about those all the time. But when it comes down to it, you can't do wrong with a classic double cheeseburger dressed to your liking. And you could find that with the freshest ingredients and the certified Angus beef. And like I said, the fresh baked potato buns at both locations of Mooyah Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. You'll find them on Segan, just north of Industrialplex. You'll find them on Bluebonnet at Highland. Mooyah Burgers, Fries, and Shakes. Every day we step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish for the outside end. Let's do that now. We're going to start off at St. John the Baptist Parish. A newly released report on a deadly helicopter crash on the Bonacary Spillway suggests foggy conditions paired with the aircraft's low altitude caused it to collide with power lines and then plummet to the highway below. The preliminary report from the NTSB on the December 14th crash said the helicopter was heading to the Lakefront Airport, New Orleans Lakefront Airport, from Gonzales when it collided with wires over I-10. The report revealed the aircraft was flying at an altitude of about 75 feet above ground level when it struck the wires. Then low-level fog allowed the power lines, the stanchions of the power lines, to be barely visible from the east. Over to Iberville Parish, a teenager was found lying on a couch inside his home with a gunshot wound. A 14-year-old has been arrested in his killing. The Plaquemine Police Department said 17-year-old Tremone McGinnis was found shot inside his home in the Kingston Place subdivision early yesterday. He was taken to a hospital. He later died from his wounds. A 14-year-old, whose name is not being revealed because of his age, was arrested in the killing. That is going to be all the time we have for the outside in, but I do have one more story I want to cover. We'll do that when we come back from news, which is coming your way right now on Talk 107.3. Can't do a live read there. I can't do a live read there. Oh. Tiffany says, "Ugh, I hate when you turn the mics off." Tiffany, yeah, I know you do. I'm sorry. Of course he is. Hey, man, everything's Trump's fault, man. It's like when I was a kid playing with pine straw. You know, your hair would come around by the donkeys. Wow. Not yet. I don't know. Oh, no, I mean, we have vents, but they're closed off because if they're open, it gets really, really cold. Yep. Big birthdays today, huh?
Now, your WBRZ traffic update from Ashley Fouché.
Couple of pockets of slow traffic now on I-12 westbound as more folks hit the roadways. Isolated to the 1012 merge, though, right around Eston, just a line of cars on the right-hand side of the roadway, creating a little bit of a backup. 14 minutes brings you to 1012 is still a fantastic drive time for anyone leaving Dedham. No big problems traveling toward Baton Rouge. A little pocket of slower traffic now on the Mississippi River Bridge eastbound at the 10110, only bumping the drive time up by 1 minute. 7 from Rockville College. Let's take it outside. Check on those cameras. Denham Springs wide open. No issues on I-10 at College Drive. And really only a slight slowdown eastbound just at the 10110. Overall looks really nice out.
See an accident? Reported at WBRZ Traffic on Twitter. This report is brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get free tire repairs on all household cars when you purchase new tires. It's all part of the Charlie's Dozen, and it's only at Shawbills.
30 seconds. A few light
Okay.
showers will be around this morning as a cold front approaches the area. Temperatures ahead of this front will warm into the mid-60s. In the afternoon, temperatures will drop behind the cold front, expected to be back down in the 50s by evening commute time. As the sun goes down tonight, temperatures will drop into the 30s. North of Baton Rouge will be just below freezing, with widespread frost expected all the way to the coast. Friday afternoon will be clearing.
Coming up on 806 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Thanks again to Brian Singleton and Elgene McNeely for stopping by for Crimestoppers. Thanks to Don Capola for bringing them by. And thanks to State Representative Ted James for hopping on board last hour as well. That was a busy hour. This is a busy hour also. Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome was at the Rotary Club yesterday with her State of the City address. Was there for it. It was quick. You know how the State of the Union address can go on for seemingly forever with the applause breaks and everything? Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome dropped the State of the City on us, and I want to say it was under 20 minutes before she took questions. It might have been right at 20 minutes. But she covered a lot of ground, a lot of it involving crime. And we're going to talk about it in our next segment. I got a ton of audio from that speech in our next segment. Also this hour, Darryl McDaniels, the DMC from Run DMC, is I had the chance to talk to him. Say he's going to join us. He's already joined me. I did the interview yesterday. He's got a new children's book out, which is a lot of fun in and of itself, but also got the chance to talk with him about how groundbreaking Run DMC was. Look, I'm 45 years old, so 1986, 10-year-old Brian wanted nothing more than to get that Raising Hell cassette. Game changer. Game changer on the music scene. Game changer for longevity purposes. Who does not still like... Who can't recite all the lyrics to Walk This Way or My Adidas? Who doesn't know that Peter Piper has like a Pavlovian effect as soon as you hear it? Anyway, got to talk with Darryl McDaniels yesterday. That'll be coming your way at 8:40. Look, before we get you to This Day in History, which every day we lead off the third hour with This Day in History, there was one more story in New Orleans that I wanted to touch on in the outside in, just didn't have time for, and I wanted to make sure it got its full due. Lawrence Brooks passed away recently. Lawrence Brooks is a New Orleans native, and he was the oldest surviving World War II veteran in the country. He passed away Wednesday morning at the age of 112. The news of his passing was actually shared not so much by his family, but the National World War II Museum in New Orleans shared the news of Brooks' passing late Wednesday morning. 112 years old. Passed away yesterday. Brooks was drafted into the U.S. Army when he was 31 years old and served in both New Guinea and the Philippines during World War II. Think about that. As the number of folks from the Greatest Generation, we're not able to hang on to that many of them anymore. And every day that passes will be closer to not having any left at all. Brooks was 112. 31 when he was drafted. He provided a level of service in this country that we'll be forever grateful for. That entire generation we're forever grateful for. So wanted to make sure we made note of Mr. Brooks' passing in its on its own, as opposed to being folded into the other segment. Well, to make sure it had room to run. All right, it is time for This Day in History. Let's roll. What you got, Jake?
First off, good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great day so far. We're starting things off in 1681. The first ever recorded boxing match is engineered by Christopher Monk, 2nd Duke of Albemarle. It was his butler versus his butcher.
His butler versus his butcher?
Yep, first ever boxing match. I don't know who won, but I can't imagine it was it was probably a good fight to watch.
Sure. I mean, it was the first one, so it was going to be a good fight.
I mean, you got nothing to compare it to,
right.
So it has to be the best and the worst.
Yeah.
1931, Thomas Edison submits his last patent application.
You said 16 what for that fight?
1681.
Wow. Okay, so they went another 150 plus years before having designated rules to boxing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
1968. The
Marquis of Queensberry.
What?
That's who wrote the rules of boxing, the Marquis of Queensberry.
Okay.
They call him the Marquis of Queensberry rules.
Huh. I did not know
Looks
that.
like it's spelled Marquez. Marquess, but it's the Marquis of Queensberry.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
1968, the Beatles' album Magical Mystery Tour goes #1 and stays #1 for 8 weeks. Two things happened in 1975. First up, Wheel of Fortune It debuted on NBC TV.
Cool.
Also, the same day, same year, 1,000 Led Zeppelin fans waiting overnight inside the lobby of the Boston Garden for tickets to the group's February 4th gig to go on sale. It causes a riot and an estimated $30,000 worth of damages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's
Led Zeppelin fans.
That's
huh?
rock and roll right there. 2016, Star Wars The Force Awakens breaks North American box office record, passing the $760.5 million taken by Avatar.
What year was this?
2016. 2016.
Yeah. Okay.
What?
You skipped 1994.
What happened in 1994?
Why? Why? Nancy Kerrigan is attacked after practice at the U.S. Figure Skating Championships in Detroit.
Oh.
That's when Jeff Gillooly,
Yeah.
under the alleged orders of Tanya Harding, went Billy Club on Nancy Kerrigan's knee.
Yikes. Yeah. 2021, we talked about this throughout the show. Supporters of the President Donald Trump stormed U.S. Capitol in Washington during congressional certification of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's win, resulting in 5 deaths and prompting evacuation of lawmakers and Vice President Mike Pence. Yeah, that happened last year. We all
1 year ago today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's get on to the birthdays.
Got a ton of them.
A lot of them. Rowan Atkinson will start things off at 67.
Good for you. I honestly thought that you were going to skip Rowan Atkinson.
How? He's a legend.
I understand that. I just didn't know if it was cross-generational.
Nah.
Mr. Bean is my generation.
Well, I also watched Mr. Bean as a kid.
Good.
He was also in a Scooby-Doo movie back in like the early 2000s, directed by James Gunn. Classic movie for my generation. Norman Reedus turns 53, the Walking Dead star himself.
Gotcha.
Joan of Arc, not in The Walking Dead, but, 1412. That's when
Yeah.
she was born. Julie Chen Moonves, 52 years old, host of Big Brother.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Classic. Jameis Winston, Saints quarterback, 28. Happy birthday.
This day in 2014,
We're going back.
Jameis Winston throws a 13-yard touchdown pass to Kelvin Benjamin with 13 seconds left. Number 1 Florida State beats number 2 Auburn 34-31 to win the last national BCS national championship.
Huh.
Yeah, on his birthday.
That must have been nice.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday to him. And Ndamukong Suh turns 35.
Okay.
AJ Hawk. You see him on the,
Yeah.
what's his name? How am I blanking on his name?
I have no clue.
Pat McAfee, the show. AJ Hawk's on
Oh, really? Is he?
Yeah, he's
Okay,
like a
cool.
common guest. And finally, for me at least, Gilbert Arenas turns 40.
So if it's Gilbert Arenas' birthday, that means it's National Take Your Gun Out in the Locker Room Day? That's got to be a thing, right?
Yeah.
Got room for a few more birthdays?
You tell me.
Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz, born on this day in 1937. Howie Long.
Ooh.
1961, and former defensive end for the Cowboys and 49ers, Charles Haley, born on this day in 1964. One more. Born on this day in 1991, former LSU pitcher, now with the Blue Jays, I believe, Kevin Gausman.
Ooh, happy birthday to all those mentioned. Only one death to report. We have Theodore Roosevelt, died on this day in 1919. And finally, let's get to the holidays.
It's National Take Your Gun Out in the Locker Room Day.
That, and it's also National Smith Day, not blacksmith. If you have the last name Smith, which is a lot of people, this day is dedicated to you. So happy holidays.
That shouldn't be a
also, I just read the thing.
Yeah, I know.
And it's also, this is the last holiday I'm going to mention, it is National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day.
Yes. Because
Take down your Christmas trees, people.
Christmas is over.
It
It's
is.
12th night.
I understand if you want to feel festive. Hey, live your truth. But it is National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day.
No, it's National. We're just going to call it a Mardi Gras tree from now on. That's how that works.
Well, that is this day in history.
Going to have to take out the tree. I can't. I'm going to the game tonight. I'll be in the PMAC tonight. By the way, LSU women's basketball, Kim Mulkey and her crew will be taking on number 1 South Carolina in the PMAC at 7 o'clock tonight. You will hear it live right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Patrick Wright will hit the airwaves with pregame at 6:30. Tip-off is at 7. That house is going to be rocking. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight over at the Maravich Assembly Center and right here on Talk 107.3. All right, Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome was at the Rotary Club yesterday. We've got audio for you next on Talk 107.3.
Don't allow insurance companies to take advantage of you. Make the right decision. Don't leave wine, wisdom, and food experience. Tuesday, February 1st, or Thursday, February 3rd at 6:30. We'll have great food, wine, and talk about strategies to help you win after retirement. Visit GregoryRicks.com to reserve your seat or call the office 225-522-4282.
Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Louisiana has over 26,000 licensed companies that do business legally and meet the needs of our state. Before selecting a contractor, check references and verify the license at lacontractor.org. It's your money. Make wise decisions and protect yourself from being scammed.
Hello, everybody. This is Chris Blair, and this is your LSU update brought to you by LSUshop.net. LSU men's and women's basketball keep moving up the rankings following big wins over the weekend. In Monday's AP polls, Will Wade in men's basketball moved from number 25 up 6 spots to number 19. Kim Mulkey in women's basketball move up 2 spots to number 22.
This is like 2 weeks old.
Yeah, they've never updated it. It's actually about to be a month old. Who does this?
I don't know. Did Immense call you back, or did it just come back up?
So what's the deal with Darryl McDaniels?
Yes.
Oh, do you have an order for the cuts you want?
They're going to go in order. I want Graves first, though.
Okay. I just wanted to ask you about that.
819, Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So today is the anniversary of I look up at the screen and it's, how does ABC News putting it? Biden, 1 year ago today in this sacred place, democracy was attacked. The president is addressing the nation. I can't tell if that's live or not. It doesn't say live on the screen, so no, it does. It does. We'll have audio from that in CBS News at the bottom of the hour, no doubt. Whether you call it an attack, an insurrection, however, whatever phrasing you put on it, today is the anniversary of that. And as everything's been politicized and glossed over since then, it is important to remember that the reason that the folks who went into the Capitol went into the Capitol was because today was the certification of the election. And anything else is trying to rewrite history. Now, it was a Wednesday. And every Wednesday I have Congressman Garrett Graves on the show for D.C. Current. I say every Wednesday. There's 2 or 3 weeks out of the year where it doesn't happen. Every Wednesday we effort to have him. Had Congressman Graves on for that day as well. And towards the end of the interview, I mentioned about the certification election because rumors were swirling. People were saying all over the place, the Capitol's going to get stormed. The certification's not going to happen. But it was from a different perspective. The certification wasn't going to happen because there were going to be a number of Republicans who were going to vote not to certify the election because they were protesting the validity of the results that they did not want to certify. It appeared beforehand like there was going to be not revolt, but conflict from within, not necessarily from without. So in my interview with Congressman Graves, I had asked him about the process and was he ready for what was to come. This is a pretty long exchange. It's about a minute and a half. But here was me and the congressman talking about whether or not he was going to vote to certify the election. Hindsight being 2020, I probably shouldn't have asked that stupid question. At the time, it felt like a stupid question. At the time, it felt like, let's just have a little fun. Did not see that one coming. By the way, again, we're a year removed, and I still appreciate the congressman's answer. Not going to win in the early rounds, but I'll make it the distance. Oh, man. So things played out the way they played out. The investigation is still going on. And it happened 1 year ago today. So we'll let CBS handle the rest of that. Actually, you know what? Brian Kilmeade's going to have a ton on that today on his show. I have his rundown. Give me a sec, because this is also important. Thought I had his rundown. Yes. Yeah. The Kilmeade's going to be talking about COVID, Afghanistan, Russia, China, and a lot about the 1 year anniversary. Of note, one of Brian Kilmeade's guests today, our own Attorney General Jeff Landry, is going to be on the Brian Kilmeade show today. Not about the anniversary of the Capitol, but Attorney General Landry is going to be on the Hill talking about vaccine mandates, making an argument against vaccine mandates. And because of that testimony, not on the Hill, because of that testimony in Supreme Court, he's going to be on with Brian Kilmeade today. So we'll catch up with Jeff Landry, not this coming week, but the week after. All right, Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome was at the Rotary Club yesterday. She gave her State of the City address. It covered a lot of ground in a very short period of time. Let's get to as much of this as we possibly can. Right out the blocks, it's no secret. We have a crime problem in Baton Rouge. We have a homicide problem in Baton Rouge, to be sure. But as we talked about in our Crimestoppers segment, we have a drug problem in Baton Rouge. While numbers are down on a number of property crimes, we still have property crime problems in Baton Rouge. You know, they say one of the first steps to fixing a problem is acknowledging the problem. Mayor Sharon Weston Broome, like her or not, owns the problem when it comes to crime. It's a lot of phone calls. That is, record-breaking number of phone calls for that. Dispatch would have her on speed dial for that. We've heard a similar story from the chief of police as he gets those calls as well. It is easy to look at crime through a lens of Baton Rouge only, though. And I don't want to displace any responsibility. I don't want to take eyes off the prize when it comes to who needs to be in charge of curbing crime in Baton Rouge. But it is important to note, and District Attorney Hiller Moore was on with us yesterday and had some numbers on this. I'm a numbers guy. You give me numbers, you can make an argument that can convince me. It's not just here where crime is up. Now, it's tough to say that out loud and have it not sound like an excuse. In fact, let's go ahead and hear from the mayor talking about that. Crime's up everywhere. So how do you say that without it being an excuse? There's such a difference between a reason and an excuse, is there not? How do you say that without it sounding like an excuse? I think the answer there is, how are we comparatively? When you see the two lines on the graph, where's the rest of the nation with crime? Where are we with crime? Where's the rest of the nation with homicide? Where are we with homicide? Yeah, we saw a record-breaking year in 2021. Was it worse here than it was in Austin, Texas? Was it worse here than it was in St. Louis? Was it worse here than it was in Chicago or Detroit? Interestingly enough, I mentioned St. Louis. District Attorney Hiller Moore mentioned yesterday, St. Louis actually had a down year last year. So did Dallas. But those two places also had a ridiculous 2020. So they had room to have a down year. The mayor makes an interesting comparison when it comes to crime from a health perspective, labeling this specifically as an epidemic. Not going to have enough time to completely explore this because there's so much to unpack from that. Great comparison to an epidemic, or just like we're seeing with COVID-19. It takes every person to get involved. Well, if every person isn't going to line up to get vaccinated, can't we say the same thing about crime? Not every person is going to line up to make sure that we're safer on the streets. Not every person is going to step away from the drug trade, lay down their guns, not commit homicide. If we can make those comparisons on the COVID end, or if we can make those accusations in the COVID end, well, none of the people are participating. Same thing over here. And how do you turn that corner to get everybody involved? Everyone in an epidemic knows their role, knows their level of participation, knows what part they play in the overall performance. In the world of crime, what's my role? What's yours? What's your neighbor's? See something, say something? Okay, fine. I'll go through most of my days where the only thing that I'll see when it comes to homicide is the headline. Now, we got a break for news. We'll be back on Talk 107.3. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No, I'm not. It's letting you know. He sent me 8:30 news. Dangers of the game. Listen to it first. Galen says, unlike COVID, you can lock up criminals. I know. Lock them up and keep them up, and that's why I need like an hour segment on crime in Baton Rouge and an hour on the mayor's 20-minute speech from yesterday. Because, yeah, there's a big part of this. When it comes to level of participation, what's our judge's level of participation? BRPD has a good clearance rate, and police work by its very nature is reactive, not proactive. So if BRPD has a good clearance rate, if you don't like the chief, if you like the chief or not, doesn't matter. They're arresting people. How is it the police department's fault if the people that they're arresting are back on the streets a week later, committing the same MFing crimes again? This is not new. Stop it and run the 630. That's why I said listen to it ahead of time. I don't know. Sorry, I had to text somebody. Yeah, how do you get the participation from the judges? That's, to me, that seems to be a real problem. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, that's the quote unquote definition of insane, right? Definition of insanity. Technical definition of insanity is mania, but that's neither here nor there. But if you're continually doing the same thing over and over again, all you're going to do is exacerbate the problem. If you do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, you'll eventually get a different result, but it's not going to be the result you want. It's going to be a result that's much, much, much worse. And I can give you one name as a prime example of that. And I'm not using this as an excuse, but walk down this path with me. Blaine Salamone. Alton Sterling. Walk down this path with me for just a minute. It is not unreasonable to think that if you show up on Monday and arrest a guy for something, you show up on Wednesday and arrest him for the same thing, you show up on Friday, arrest him a third time for the same thing, you have this loop going on. And if you're on the law enforcement end, yes, it's not what you're supposed to do, but your level of frustration increases regularly and exponentially. And eventually you lose your shit and you do something that's evil and illegal. Because doing things the right way is not going to work. No, Salamone's a different case altogether, and I understand all the surrounding circumstances with that. But can you not see how that would be the result of this? Where's you down? How many times do I have to arrest you for doing the same bleeping thing before you either get the message or you just stop doing what you're doing? Or you move somewhere else, somebody else's beat. If that happens in that way, then I don't know what to tell you. Sadly, crime fighting has become uber political too. Ironically, allowing crime to proliferate hurts the very people the most that are wanting feel-good policies. Hallelujah! Amen. Bing bong. 100%. Political favors, political patronage, knowing the right thing. It's been a problem for a long, long time from every step along the political spectrum. but it's in a bad, bad place right now. How does the Darryl McDaniel interview start? Okay. Just join right now. Let me say, I'm going to dive back into more what the mayor had to say later. But, and as soon as I say but, hit that. .838 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're going to continue unpacking what the mayor had to say a little bit later, but That was a lot of fun. By the way, yeah, the book is available right now from Random House Children's Books. It is called Darryl's Dream. It became available 2 days ago. And yeah, hit him up at the end of that right there. By the way, full disclosure, that was a previously recorded interview. I had the chance to sit down with him yesterday. Where Run DMC was then versus where we are now, I think, are two entirely different things. And it was late 80s, early 90s. We were at a different time societally where we were all looking to come together, where I feel like today it's all about dividing us into separate groups, right? It's we all have to be classified by our political title or our pronouns or our race or our division in one way, shape, or form. And I'm sure there's a million studies that'll tell you which one way is better over the other. But everything just felt more together then. I know this is the first stage of turning into an old man, but I definitely like the music better. I mean, I like a lot of what's out today, but, and I told him at the end of that, like, while Walk This Way was the big one, right? You had Run DMC, you had Aerosmith. I mean, it took over MTV when MTV played music. It took over MTV. But Walk This Way was not my favorite. Oh, when it all comes down to it, when it all comes down to it, number one, Peter Piper was number one. Peter Piper's got some dirty words. We're not going to play that on the air. Number two, right here. Step on stage at Live 8, and the poor got paid. I mean, come on, it does not get better than my Adidas. The introduction of hip-hop and rap from just being rap on the streets to the full-on Billboard top. That one went number 4, I believe. No, Walk This Way went number 4 overall. Didn't have a rap song go number 1 overall until Tone Loc did it twice. Wild Thing and Funky Cold Medina. But it was pivotal. And it was about bringing everybody together. My Adidas was so good. I mean, my Adidas only bring good news. And they are not used as felon shoes. All right. I'm going to use the last segment to get back into a little bit more of what the mayor had to say. It wasn't all about crime. There were a number of other topics as well. She talked about economic development. She talked about infrastructure. She talked about drainage. But she also talked about litter. And this is something that seems to be growing in popularity, attention, awareness in Baton Rouge. It's something that's always been on the back burner of problems. When you're breaking records for homicides, nobody's going to talk about picking up cigarette butts. But it's growing, and we're going to talk about it next. After Your Money Now, one more check of traffic, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. So the left is getting this one completely wrong. Is your mic on? Okay. Yes. Ask the question again with your mic on so YouTube can hear it.
Apparently, I've heard that Let's Go Brandon is like another way of saying F Joe Biden.
Yes, that is correct.
I don't know why that is.
Why does that make sense?
Yeah, why does that make sense?
So, and the left is getting this one completely wrong. and it is going to have to be talked about at some point that the left is getting it completely. Hey, was YouTube able to hear my Adidas?
No.
Okay.
I kept it off.
I'm teetering on just saying bleep YouTube and let's play it. If they mute us, they mute us. Who cares? We'll get there. Anyway, so the origin of Let's Go Brandon was a TV reporter talking to that race car driver. I think it was a race car driver. Let's Go Brandon origin. Here we go. I got to get the last name of Brandon, right? It was at 2021 Talladega, Brandon Brown.
Okay.
Okay. So you're at a NASCAR race at Talladega. Brandon Brown's being interviewed by Kelly Stavast or Stavast. I don't know. Anyway, this big crew, this big group of NASCAR fans at the race is in the background of the interview going, "Oh, Joe Biden," over and over and over again, right? And the reporter says, you can hear the crowd now yelling, "Let's go, Brandon," while she's interviewing Brandon. Well, so that turned into, that was so brazenly stupid. Like, that was so over the top, just dumb to try and describe, well, they're saying, "Let's go, Brandon." Acknowledge what they're saying. We all hear what they're saying. Mm-hmm. So it grew a life of its own to where that's just what folks started saying, "Let's go, Brandon," instead of F Joe Biden. But it, like, the left is like, "Oh, the right thinks they're being cute." No, the right doesn't think they're being cute. The right knows they're making fun of the media lying to them. "Let's go, Brandon" isn't even about F Joe Biden anymore. People say it to say F Joe Biden, but really, "Let's go, Brandon" is about the media straight up lying. That's it's not about being cute and saying, "I'm saying the F word" without saying the F word. Has nothing to do with saying the F word without saying the F word. It has everything to do with, oh my God, just can we be real? So that's
now
what
Let's Go Brandon represents like the media, like
no,
is it still strictly a right wing thing to do? Or?
Still, yes. The left is to the point of where they're fed up with the right saying it, be like, whatever, we don't care, we don't like Joe Biden either. The right is, some of it's F Joe Biden, but it's really more, like, to me at least, it's more about not facing reality. Like keeping your head buried in the sand. So.
Because I feel like the last part of that message is applicable to both sides, to everybody.
The whole message is applicable, yes, absolutely. But that's where that came from, was an interview with a NASCAR racer.
I bet that would have been hilarious to witness live, or like watching that broadcast as it happened, and then, like, I don't know, seeing something go from like, "Whoa, I can't believe I just saw that," to everyone's saying it now.
Here you go.
Oh my.
Like, yeah.
God.
Could it be any more clear what they're actually saying?
Oh, it's loud and clear.
And look, it's a reporter on the spot who made a bad choice about how to cover the story she was covering.
Yeah.
It was, clearly we don't want this to be, well, you know what? Cut the feed.
Yeah.
Cut the interview. If it's live, go to the dude in the truck should have cut it off.
The last thing you should do is acknowledge it.
Right. But at the same time, though, if you're in the moment, how do you not?
Yeah.
If you're in the moment, how do you not? Like, if you're, like, you're not being real if you don't acknowledge it. Well, she chose to complicate it, and it's a split-second decision.
Yeah.
I got no hate for her.
Yeah.
But it's emblematic of the overall, this isn't what's happening, but this is what we're going to tell you is happening.
Yeah.
8:56 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. One segment to go here on Mornings with Brian Haldane. Going to dive back into the mayor's State of the City address yesterday. And oh, by the way, 1 week from today, Thursday, next week, 7:15 a.m., Mayor President Sharon Weston Broome is slated to join me to talk about the State of the City, talk about the speech, talk about where we are when she gave her State of the City address to the Rotary Club yesterday, which, by the way, is available in the Rotary Club's Facebook page. They do Facebook Live every single one of their meetings, so you can hear all the speakers from the Rotary Club, absolutely, but this one in particular, as it sets the table for where we're headed in 2022. There's also a really good video presentation, a really well-packaged video presentation ahead of that address. We'll have the mayor on to talk about it. And the interview won't be bogged down completely with crime because we're going to have Chief of Police Murphy Paul on Tuesday at 7:35, hopefully to cover the exact same topic. But I want to touch on economic development. I want to touch on infrastructure. I want to touch on drainage a good bit. But stemming from that same speech yesterday, the mayor, before making her closing remarks, talked about litter as well. So many questions there. First of all, when addressing litter in Baton Rouge, we run into the same problem that everybody ran into as a kid. You see something on the floor in your house, your mom would say, pick that up. You say, I didn't put it there. What does your mom say instantly? I didn't ask you if you put it there. I asked you to pick it up. So as a community, do we pick it up? Even if you're not the one who put it there, do you pick it up? Thinking about this on a macro scale, thinking about this on a big scale. Or do we pay for city services to handle it? DPW or whomever to handle it? It's never going to be in the top 10 of problems in Baton Rouge, but I at least appreciate the fact that it made the roster. It made the final cut for her speech yesterday. And we'll pick it all up later. Fox News Rundown's next, a lot on January 6th. Oh, crap. Are we yes, I'm so sorry, YouTube. We will see you tomorrow.